Geometry, thanks for tuning in for another episode of Math with Mullins. This is going to be part 2 of your midterm review. This is midterm number 1 review, and this is going to be units 1 through 3 of Reveal Geometry from McGraw-Hill. Unit 2 is the main focus for today. So for part 2, we want to make sure we know conditional statements, your converse, inverse, contrapositive, biconditionals, hypothesis, conclusions, and counter examples. 23, choose the statement that is contrapositive to the following statement. Before we get started on that, we just want to make sure we remember the order in which statements are. So we have C, C, I, C. So your conditional statement is P then Q, your converse is Q then P, your inverse is not P, not Q, and your contrapositive is not Q, not P. So if I want a contrapositive, I need to switch around P and Q and negate it, okay? That statement will be, if the blood does not rush to your head, then you do not do a handstand, and that would be option C. If the blood doesn't rush to your head, then you haven't done a handstand. 24, choose a statement that is the converse of the following statement. So remember, converse is Q then P. So right now it says, if the cat plays a fiddle, then the cow jumps over the moon. So the converse of that would be the cow jumping over the moon and the cat playing the fiddle. So that is going to be option B. If the cow jumps over the moon, then the cat plays the fiddle. 25, choose the inverse of the following statement. Remember, inverse is not P to not Q, just like we have up here. Okay, so right now, if a quadrilateral has 4 right angles, then it's a rectangle, so the inverse of that is going to be option D. If a quadrilateral doesn't have 4 right angles, then it's not a rectangle. And then the biconditional statement just means we have P and Q using if and only if. So if it's Halloween, then I'm trick-or-treating. I'm trick-or-treating if and only if it's Halloween. That's going to be option A. Okay. Unit 3, we're going to skip right along now to our vocabulary here. This is what we just took a test over of. So we have alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding angles, consecutive interior, parallel, perpendicular slope, slope y-intercept, and point slope form. Number 27, if L is parallel to M, then we can say X is also equal to 78 degrees using the alternate exterior angles theorem. What is the relationship between angles 1 and 8? Those are going to be C, alternate exterior angles. Okay, let's flip the page. Next up, we have question 29, the relationship for 1 and 5. These are corresponding angles. And then for question 30, the relationship for 3 and 5, those are consecutive interior angles. Find the slope in the other line that passes through -3, 6 and 8, 9. Remember, slope is the change in y over the change in x, or you might have learned y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to do 9 minus 6 for my y's, and then 8 minus -3 for my x's. So I'm going to get 3 over 11, so that is option A. What is an equation of the line that passes through the points 1, 2, and 3, -6? This is when we have a few steps here. So we would find slope first, and then step 2, use point slope form, and one set of given coordinates. Okay, so my slope I'm going to say is -6 minus 2 over 3 minus 1, or -8 over 2, which is equal to -4. So my slope is -4, which means it cannot be letter C. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just plug in 1, 2. So for my x and y. So I'm going to have y minus 2 is equal to -4, parentheses x minus 1. I'm going to distribute that -4, so y minus 2 is equal to -4x plus 4, and then add 2 to both sides. I'm going to say y is equal to -4x plus 6. That should be option D. 33, find the equation of a line that's perpendicular to y plus 5 is equal to 3/2 x. That passes through 3/4, 3, 4. Easy to put this in slope-intercept form, but it really doesn't change our slope at all. If I put this in point slope-intercept form, I'm going to get 3 over 2x minus 5. So perpendicular slope just needs to be the opposite reciprocal of that, so negative 2/3. So I'm going to use that negative 2/3, and my xy is 3/4. So y minus 4 is equal to negative 2/3, parentheses, x minus 3. And what I could go ahead and do is think about which one of these slopes probably won't help me with a perpendicular slope. So maybe you already even see your answer here, but in case you didn't, let's go ahead and distribute. Y minus 4 is equal to negative 2/3 x, and then negative 2/3 times negative 3 is a positive 2. I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and I'm going to only get option D here. Y is equal to negative 2/3 x plus 6. Okay, also take note, this was the only perpendicular slope there. Find the equation of the line that's parallel to 4x, so same slope here, so that means I won't be able to use option B or C, and to be quite honest, you won't be able to use option D either because it's got a negative slope and I need the exact same. So that's only going to leave me option A, but just for funsies, prove it. Y minus negative 8 is equal to 4, same slope using from here, and then parentheses x minus negative 9. These are going to change to plus positives. So y plus 8 is equal to 4x plus 36. Subtracting 8 from both sides, and 36 minus 8 gives me my 28. So yes, letter A works great. Okay, 35. Find the slope of a line perpendicular to the line who is the equation of 2x minus 12y is equal to negative 120. First thing I'm going to do is get y by itself so I know what my slope is. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So I get negative 12y is equal to negative 2x minus 120. And then I'm dividing everything by negative 12. So y is equal to 1 over 6x plus 10. And then I want a perpendicular slope. So perpendicular slope is going to be negative 6. And that's going to be option C. Then our next one, find the slope of the line parallel to this line. Again, moving that x over, so I'm going to get negative 6y is equal to negative 5x plus 30. Dividing everything by negative 6, I'm going to get y is equal to positive 5 over 6x minus 5. And the parallel slope needs to be the same as what I'm given. So that would be, this one got formatted kind of weird, option C, 5 over 6. Okay. Onward. This is where we get a little bit out of order here. So keep that in mind as we look for some of those. For number 37, completing the proof. So let's go ahead and write down our givens. AD bisects angle CAB. So that is our given. And then what I might go ahead and do now is do my definition of angle bisector. So my angle CAD is congruent to angle DAB. So definition of angle bisector. And then go ahead and, because I'm going to plug in some numbers here, I'm going to say the measure of angle CAD is now equal to the measure of angle DAB using definition of congruence. And then step 4, now I'm going to substitute. CAD is 6x plus 12, and then DAB is 8x minus 10. So step 4, substitution. And then from here it becomes very easy because you're student algebraic reasoning. So I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. So I get 12 is equal to 2x minus 10. And that was subtraction. And then step 6, I'm going to get 22 is equal to 2x because I used addition. I'm going to have to go over one step here. Some of you might be able to finish in 7, but I'm going to need 8. And then 11 is equal to x using division. And then to make sure I have it where it's x is equal to 11, we're going to use symmetric. Okay. Next, find the slope of A, B, and CD, and then show our work in both the numerator and denominator. Then are they parallel, perpendicular, or neither? So line slope for AB is going to be change in y. So 7 minus -1 over -6 minus -2 plus positive. So I'm going to get 8 over -4 or -2. And then C to D, missing letter D here, 3 minus -1 for my y's and 4 minus 2 for my x's. So it'll be 4 over 2, and I'm getting positive 2. So these are going to end up being neither because there's no parallel or perpendicular relationship. For number 39, I'm going to say 4 minus 4 over 3 minus -1, so 0 over 4, which is 0. And then for C to D, 5 minus -1 over 2 minus 2, I'm going to get 6 over 0, which is undefined, but these are actually going to end up being perpendicular because a 0 slope is left and right, and an undefined slope is up and down, okay? And then same thing for 40 and 41. I'm going to say 2 minus 0 for my y's and -1 minus -2 for my x's. 2 over -1 plus 2 is 1, so I'm going to get 2. And then for C to D, 9 minus 5 over 5 minus 3, 4 over 2 equals 2. So these are going to be parallel for number 40. And then 41, 4 minus -5 over 1 minus -2 plus positive 9 over 3, which is equal to 3. And then for C to D, -3 minus -1 over -4 minus -10 plus positive -2 over 6 or -1/3. This one is showing up perpendicular. Okay, almost done here. We got this proof and then a few more things in the back and then we're done. Completing the proof, this one's nice because you're just going to fill in some reasoning here. So we know that P is parallel to Q and the measure of angle 1 is equal to 81. We want to prove that that measure of angle 7 is 99. So I'm going to go and just mark 81 just so we know that. It does say the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2, and we can say those are alternate exterior angles. Then we probably substituted 81 is equal to the measurement of angle 2 because we're just substituting angle 1 is equal to 81. And then we're saying linear pairs are supplementary. So that's probably the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 7 is equal to 180. And then we're trying to make sure that angle 7 is equal to 99. So let's go ahead and say 81 plus the measure of angle 7 is equal to 180. And we did substitution again. And then we said measure of angle 7 is 99 degrees, so we probably use subtraction there. Okay, last little bit, these are 38, 39. We're going to graph A, B, and C, D. Be sure to label the points. Find the slope of each line, show rise and run, and finally fold the paper vertically and verify your slopes match the calculated slopes on the back. So the measurement or the slope of AB. A is -2, -1, and then -6, +7. Okay, and then we're just counting rise over run. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over 1, 2, 3, 4, or -2. And then CD, I'm going to do that in a different color. 2, -1, 4, 3. That rise is 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, which is equal to +2. Okay, these are not going to be perpendicular, and you can show that with some of those. Okay, for 39B, AB is -1, +4, and then B is 3, 4. So we can see that that is a 0 slope. And then C is 2, -1, D is 2, comma 5. This one is a vertical slope or undefined. So you can see that those are going to be perpendicular. Okay. 40B, negative 2, comma 0, negative 1, comma 2. That is going to be a slope of 2, and then 3, comma 5, and then 5, comma 9. Also going to be a slope of 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2. Okay, so you're going to see that these lines are going to run parallel. And then 41B, negative 2, negative 5, 1, comma 4. Again, that's going to be a slope of 9 over 3, or just 3. Excuse me. And then CD, negative 10, negative 1, negative 4, negative 3. This one is going to go nice through that, or negative 1, 2 over 6, which is negative 1/3. So you're going to see that perpendicular relationship. Okay. And our last one, filling out another proof. We know that CE is equal to FE and ED is equal to EG, so we want to prove that CD is equal to FG. Here we go. We know our givens, so I'm going to also say that CE is equal to FE and ED is equal to EG using definition of congruence. And then we know that CE plus ED is equal to CD. And then I'm also going to squeeze in FE plus EG is equal to FG. And that's going to be your line segment addition. Okay, and then now that I know those things, what I then can say is, because FE plus EG is equal to FG, and I know FG is equal to CE, then I can maybe substitute FE plus EG is equal to CD, and that would be substitution. And then substitute again, FE and EG are equal to FG. So CD is equal to FG, also using substitution. And then line CD congruent to line FG using definition of congruence. I did finish this in 6 lines. I would say right here you could probably use 2 lines for, so that way you'd use all 7 if that bothered you. But for the most part, that is the gist of that proof. That'll be it for your midterm review part 2. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of studying for your midterm. Good luck on it, and we will see you next time. Bye.